You know, we thought about doing this high school preview outside today, and then we said, nah, there's no need for that. Chuck and Bo with you on a Thursday. Looking forward to a weekend in high school football where we finally even back up between Michigan and Indiana. It's semifinal weekend, whether you're talking districts or sections.
This is a great week of football. We're going to have great weather, and it's a perfect time to have the semifinals.
So let's start up in the state of Michigan. St. Joe at 6-3 goes on over to Edwardsburg, 9-0. Game at Leo Hoffman Field. St. Joe started off so strong, Bo, but they've really fallen on some tough times lately.
Yeah, they started out 6-0. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost their last 3 straight first-round sectional games as well. Edwardsburg Eddies, 8-9-0. Kevin Bartz has got this team going 50 points a game. Their last 6 seasons, they've only had 6 losses total.
And if you haven't noticed by the highlights, they like to run the ball. That young man, Dylan Hirsch, had 131 last week in their rout over number 2 Paw Paw. And another big storyline in this game, Bo, is the defensive coordinator now at Edwardsburg, Gandalf Church, is the former head coach at St. Joe, where we got to know him a little bit.
Yeah, we got to know Gandalf quite well, and this is going to be a great rivalry for him, and it's going to be a lot of emotions in this game for him as well, and for both these teams. Edwardsburg, of course, they're going to ground and pound this whole game.
And St. Joe's going to run it too. Jeremiah Sterling had 122 yards on the ground last week in their loss to Portage Northern. If you want offense, Brandywine Selge Field is the place to be. Constantine at 7-2 taking on a Brandywine team that's undefeated for only the second time in school history, and man, both these teams like to score.
Yeah, Constantine, you look at, they've scored over 40 points a game. In fact, their only 2 losses have been combined by 8 points on the season, so they got some good defenses as well. But you look at Brandywine, 50 points a game they've been putting up. They put up 50 points last year in the sectional game, and they got beat 86-50. So the defenses definitely have to step up against these juggernaut offenses.
Yeah, I still shake my head at that 86-50. I'm sure Mike Nate does too. Now, Mike's got a really good running back in Jordan Abrams, but I think this one may boil down to the 2 quarterbacks. Gabe Gouen from Brandywine, and then a young man by the name of Caden Heltensberger over at Constantine, who threw for 4 touchdowns last week in their win over Delton Kellogg. All right, let's come down in the state of Indiana. Class 3A, one of the more ballyhooed matchups around the state this week. Ranked teams going head-to-head. You've got Marion at 8-1 going down, or 9-1 now, going down to unbeaten West Noble at 10-0. This Marion defense is for real. It's ranked number 1 in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, the Marion Knights, they're the 4-time defending sectional champs. They've only given up 5 points a game. So when you look at this, their defense is what leads this team. They're going to step up. They're the ones that create the points for their offense. West Noble, they're 10-0, but we talked about it last week. Who have they played? 2 teams with winning records on the year. And they're looking for their first ever sectional championship as well.
But don't count the Chargers out. That defense only allowing 11 points per game. They have 3 all-conference people in the skilled positions, including the coach's son at quarterback, Kyle Mahorter. I'm pretty sure he and Monty have been looking at a lot of video on Marion this week, trying to find ways to solve that Knights defense.
Yeah, and they've had 2 common opponents, John Glenn and Lakeland, so they have some film on it. They can compare a little bit. Those 4 games combined, only 19 points given up by these 2 defenses. So a lot of defense in this game tomorrow night.
The other side of the bracket, a really interesting matchup down in Mentone. Jimtown at 6-4, Tippy Valley at 7-3. Let's start with the Jimmies. They have won 4 straight. And, Bo, I know you're going to love this stat. They are 6-0 when they run the ball for 250 yards or more. They are 0-4 when they run it for less than 250. Seems pretty simple what the game plan is for Mike Campbell's team.
Yeah, they're getting back to the Jimmy way. Run the ball, and run the ball some more. 4 straight wins for them. They've averaged over 40 points, and their defense has really stepped up in those last 4 games as well, only giving up 8 points a game. Thing with Jimtown, when I look at, no sectional titles in the last 4 years for this Jimtown Jimmy team.
Well, if you're going to go no sectional titles, I'll see your Jimmies at 4 and raise you to Tippy Valley 27. But we saw the Vikings last week, and they look good at School Field. They can run the football either with Jaden Conley here or Dakota Gaff. And Steve Moriarty's team played some terrific defense in this game against South Bend, Washington.
Yeah, their defense really stepped up, and on their offensive side, what I like about them is they throw a bunch of different formations at you. They know, and you know, and everybody out there knows they're going to run the football, but they run so many different formations out there. They try to get you out of balance, offset, and out of position on defense so they can hit that big play, but they're happy with 3-4 yards at a time, picking up a first down and really sustaining those drives.
Tanner Trapiti at quarterback could be a difference maker in this one. Should be a fun night down in Mentone. Let's go into 4A now. Northwood 7-3 going to Leo 9-1. I don't think you should be deceived by the records in this one. You look at the teams Northwood has played this year, and even their losses have come to some really good teams. Nate Andrews has a big weapon in Nate Newcomer at quarterback.
Yeah, when we look at Northwood, we look at their schedule. We saw them early in the year against Chittard. Chittard, a very dominant team, but that's what Northwood wanted. They wanted to play tougher competition. They wanted to get out there. They wanted to challenge themselves so they can make a long run in the tournament. We'll see if that pans out tomorrow night. When you look at Leo, well, they've played Northwood in the playoffs. The last 2 times they played them, they beat them both times.
And you take a look at Leo, they're a team that's scoring 30 points a game. Like we said, 9-1 on the year. But 2 teams that also can score quite a bit. Could be a shootout down in Allen County Friday night. How about in 4A, Culver Academy at New Prairie? Now, these 2 teams have not played in 10 years. Culver Academy's 6-4, New Prairie's 9-1, and we know about Deontay Craig, the young man from Culver who's going to Iowa. Terrific defensive player. Can anybody control this rushing attack for New Prairie?
Well, when you control this type of rushing attack, you have to be disciplined. Well, Culver Academy. I mean, you can talk about discipline. They're going to be a disciplined team, but you have to be disciplined. You have to play your position. You cannot over-pursue and try to cover somebody else's position. As soon as you do, Russ Rackey's going to have his quarterback, Chase Ketterer, call an audible, call a different play, keep the ball, hand it off, whatever it is on this different triple option formation, and they're going to score big plays. And so you have to be disciplined, and we'll see if the Academy can do that.
And I think when you take a look at that 6-4 record for Andy Dorrell's team down in Culver, you have to realize they played a 5A power in Harrison. They lost to a highly ranked Brebeuf team in 3A, a highly ranked Marion team in 3A. I mean, the teams that have beaten them are really good teams.
Yeah, Culver Academy is a well-traveled team. They've played some very tough competition. They have a really good record. But, of course, you look at New Prairie as well. They have played a top-notch caliber teams as well.
And not only that, but you say, okay, Culver Academy has played really good teams and lost. Well, New Prairie's a really good team, so we'll see what happens. Warsaw at Chesterton in 6A. This matchup intrigues me a lot. You've got Warsaw 7-2, Chesterton 6-3. We know this much. Bart Curtis's team wants to and has to run the football, and they've got a lot of different weapons. They've got that guy, Blake Marsh. They've got Wyatt Amos. They've got Juan Jaramillo. They've just got a tremendous running game.
They do, and we got a chance to see them against Northwood, and we saw that they have some explosion, and they got Marsh, who's kind of that weapon that they can put in different sets and put him at quarterback, put him at receiver, put him at running back, whatever they want to put him. And he's got talent, he's got speed, and they're going to use any weapons they can. There's just to see Coach Bart Curtis. Bart Curtis has 8 sectional titles in his career. Warsaw, 0.
Well, that's the thing. Bart's success has come at places like New Prairie and Mishawaka. Warsaw, unfortunately, their reputation is one for no tournament success, and now they've got to try to shake that on the road. Very long road trip to get up to Chesterton, and facing a Chesterton team that'll throw it around with that sophomore quarterback, Chris Mullen.
Yeah, Chesterton's definitely going to throw it around, and that's not something that Warsaw sees every day in the NLC conference. They only see a few teams that throw the ball. Chesterton's going to throw it a lot more, and so that's something that I have to defend against. I heard a lot of people talk about, well, hey, can Warsaw beat Penn? Can Warsaw beat Penn? I was like, Warsaw has to get there first, because this is a tough matchup for them.
And all these good games, I still think we've got the best one of the lot tomorrow night over at Rice Field in Elkhart. Number 6 Concord against number 8 Elkhart Central. Let's start with the Minutemen, Bo. Ethan Kane throws the ball all over the lot, about 200 yards of passing a game. He's got weapons like Carter Neveraski. I get down to the fact that this Concord defense is very good.
They are, and we saw them against Plymouth, and they gave up some uncommon plays early in that game and got in a little bit of a hole But we saw them in the second half, and whoa, can this team turn it on in a hurry? Not just offensively, but defensively. They can really shut you down, cause turnovers, and really be a havoc in the backfield and stop any type of passing or running in that backfield.
So stopping the run, obviously a key for that Concord defense tomorrow, and trying to create turnovers. How do you do that, though, when you're going up against one of the state's top running backs in Mark Bromley, who Josh Shattuck told me yesterday will be healthy, will be ready to go after he had that cramp/hamstring problem in the game against New Prairie. But over the years, Bromley has never really played all that well against the Minutemen, so maybe Isaiah Chandler and Dominic Davis have to be factors as well.
And I think that's the key factor there. Chandler and Davis need to step up a little bit, have a few plays where they keep Concord in balance, maybe on a reverse, some quick passes, so they spread them out a little bit and they give the big guy some room in the middle, because you give him a little bit of room, he's going to break some big yardage pickups and get some big yard touchdowns.
And then we talked about the Concord defense. I would be remiss if I did not bring up the Blue Blazer defense, because if that front line can put pressure on Ethan Kane, it's a long night for the Minutemen.
Yeah, we saw that against New Prairie. They were able to get in the backfield, and Ketterer had no time at all to throw. New Prairie doesn't throw a lot, but still, it doesn't matter. If you're in the backfield so much, you're going to be pressuring Kane all night long, and if they get those big hosses up front and get some push, they're going to be in trouble then tomorrow night.
So as you see there at the bottom of the screen, you can watch it live on Facebook at 7 p.m. or go to the game, which we encourage you to do. We want a great atmosphere at Rice Field, and then come home and do what you've done for 30 years. Watch it Friday night at 11, Saturday morning at 9 on TV 46. Until then, from my broadcast partner Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Fraby. Thanks for watching us on social media.